Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsy's Guitar World, where today there are no guitars featured. Crazy stuff, eh? But that's good news, I reckon, for most people. What I'm going to do today is look through some heavy metal vinyl. I have a lot of vinyl, I have both types, so I have heavy and I have metal as well. Today's bunch of vinyl is compilation albums. Always quite good to discover bands that you've never heard of by getting a compilation album, so let's dive right in. Now this first one, Motor City Rocks 3. I don't have 1 and 2, I do have 3. This was a present from my friend Fred, who's from Detroit originally. He gave me this one time when I was across in the States. So this is FM 98.7 Detroit's Wheels. Now I guess that's the local radio station in Detroit. So the bands on this are Savage Grace, songs Time After Time. Time After Time. Is that? No, I don't think it's that one. Seduce, Headbanger, Strut, Undercover, Scarlet, Bat Out of Hell. Wonder if that's a cover. Halloween, it's a heavy metal band, Halloween. Trick or Treat. Side 2 is Gary Spaniola, There's Only You. Next band is Something American, Turn It Around. And then the Cadillac Kids, with a Z at the end, or a Z, as we say in Scotland. Tears. Second last band is Quest, When You Gonna Let Me Know. And the last band, or the last person, is Bill Mueller, Face to Face. I haven't listened to this in a long time, but I might do a needle drop at some point, because I imagine don't imagine there's many of these. And the next one is LAMOUR Rocks. From hard rock to heavy metal, and everything in between, I would guess. The rock capital of Brooklyn. So the bands on this are Wrathchild, and that's Wrathchild America, not the glam rock titans from the UK. Na Nuclear Rocket. It's not those guys. It's Wrathchild USA, or Wrathchild America. And then we've got Matriarch, Red Dawn, Jet Black. These guys look a bit like Motley Crue. And the song's Battered Child. Battered Child. And then we have Lethal something. I mean, it's like a black metal logo. Lethal. Don't know what that is. The song's called Generic Punk. Maybe that's a description of the song, I don't know. Now the next band are, I think, Attacker. And then Halloween. Oh, Halloween again. Come and Get It. And then Mean Street. Oh, that was the all-girl metal band. I remember reading about them in Kerrang. The song called Lost Stranger. And the last song is The Boys. And the song's called The Boys Keep Rolling. So is that one? So this is on Mercenary Records out of New York. This came out in 1987. So it's not in any particular order. It's just how I grabbed them out of my cupboard of metal. Next up, New Electric Warriors, with a guy standing in a field with a Washburn guitar, a Kawasaki motorcycle, and 3 guys headbanging. That's the sort of thing you see every day around here. So this came out on Logo Records. Now you no doubt know that Logo Records are famous for Vardis. So this is pretty much a metal compilation. This came out in 1980. Now the bands are side 1, Turbo, a song called Running. Second song, Buffalo, Battle Torn Heroes, that's a great tune. Then Street Fighter with She's No Angel. Then Stormtrooper, Grinding Heat. And Taro, Feel the Power. Track 6 by Bastille, Hard Man. And then Oxum with a song called Hot Rain. And side 2 finishes with Dawn Watcher, Firing on All 8. Side 2, Track 1 by Vardis, If I Were King, and it's a new take, so it must be different from the release stuff. And then track 2, the legendary Silverwing. I have some Silverwing stories I can tell you, but that'll be a future date. The song's called Rock and Roll Are 4-letter words, which is absolutely true. Rock and roll are 4-letter words. Track 3 is by Rab Stallion, Chain Reaction. 4 is Colossus, track's called Holding Back Your Love. Track 5 by Jedediah Strutt, Working Nights. Track 6, Warrior, Still on the Outside. Track 7, Kosh, The Hit. Track 8, Race Against Time, that's the name of the band, and the song's called Bedtime. So as I say, this came out in 1980 on Logo Records. Oh, if you can see that, the light's too bloody bright. Got a good compilation this of early metal, definitely recommended. And bashing on, we have the special low price Monsters of Rock. Now this was recorded at the very first Monsters of Rock festival at Castle Donington. Executive producer Roger Glover. So this is the bands that played that day, apart from Priest. For some reason Priest aren't on this. Who knows why. So we have Rainbow, Scorpions, April Wine, Saxon, Riot and Touch. I wasn't at this one. I was still too young at that point, 1980. So side 1, Stargazer by Rainbow. Then Loving You Sunday Morning by the Scorpions. Another Piece of Meat by the Scorpions. And track 4, Backs to the Wall by Saxon. There's only 4 songs on each side. Side 2, All Night Long, Rainbow. Then I Like to Rock by April Wine. Who doesn't like to rock, eh? Track 3, Don't You Know What Love Is by Touch. I love that song, absolutely brilliant song. I bought the album that it came on, and to be honest, that's without a doubt the best song on it. There's some decent tunes on the album, but that's a really standout track. I remember a story in Kerrang at the time that when Touch were playing at this festival, the singer swallowed a bee. Madness. And to round it out, the last song on side 2, the legendary Riot with Road Racing, which I think I've done a guitar lesson for. Love Riot, absolutely brilliant band. Now technically this is not an album, this is an EP, one take, no dubs, on Neat Records, the home of heavy metal. This came out in 1982. Now the bands are, see that? Bands are Alien, the song is Could Have Done Better. Black Rosebine with Knocked Out. Avenger, Hot and Heavy Express, and then Hell and Back. I mean, I don't know if you know about Hell and Back, but they're such a great band. Was the guy guitar player Dave, someone I think. What an incredible guitar player, really Eddie Van Halen-ish. The songs are just brilliant. I might do a feature on Hell and Back at some point. I have a couple of bootlegs as well. I got from the legendary Malcolm McMillan way back when. I should have looked at the cover. The guitar player is called Dave Patton, who I think went on to play with bass player from Deep Purple. He was in Hughes and Thrall. Glenn Hughes. I think he went on to play guitar with Glenn Hughes. So it's called All Systems Go, which is a brilliant song. Now we have Metal Plated. It's not actually metal plated, it's just cardboard. And this came out on Ebony Records. And it says Metal Plated is the 5th compilation album to be devoted entirely to the promotion of rock and metal bands by Ebony Records. The bands featured in this album are from all parts of England and Europe and represent the best in a cross-section of today's heavy metal music. Now this came out in, no date that I can see, 1983. So side 1 we have a French band, Demon Eyes from Paris, France. Now, my French is about as good as my Japanese. I don't really know any. So, I think this is called Les Deux Maudits. Don't know, maybe. Next track is by a band called Badger, who are from Rossendale in England. The song's called The Traveller. And then the third track are from Edinburgh, Scotland. Coma. I don't remember Coma. Maybe seen their name on posters, but I don't remember seeing them. And the song's called All in the Name of Rock and Roll. I wonder if Motley Crue covered that. And the last song is by a band called Blaspheme, who are from Paris, France. And the song's called Jehovah. On to side 2. First track by a band called Vulcane from Paris, France. Very popular in France, Ebony Records. And the song's called Vulcane. Second track, side 2, by a band called Double Agent from London, England. The song's called Madman. Third track, a band called Steel Wings from Halmstad in Sweden. It's called Live Your Life. And the last song is Stallion from Bridlington in England. I think that's a seaside village, Bridlington. And the song's called Don't Wait Too Long. And then I don't have a cover on this one. What happened here? I've lost the cover. This is Heavy Metal Records, and it's Heavy Metal Heroes, Volume 2. Now the tracks on this came out in 1982. Side 1, track 1, Lionheart, and the song's Lionheart. Second band, Shiva, and the song's called On Cachant, French as well. Again, apologies for my terrible French. Très bon, très bon. Très noble. And the third track is Arrive Alive by Palace, legendary band from Aberdeen. Really good band. I saw them a couple of times. Fantastic. It's like proggish keyboards, but really good guitar player as well. Track 4 is Mendes Prey, What the Hell's Going On. Track 5 is Mantle Swallow Palmer. It's got a mouthful. Ice Cold Diamond. Track 6, the last song on this side, is Overkill, Out of My Head. Not the metal band from Brooklyn, New York. Not them. Side 2, Jess Cox, who ended up owning Neat Records, and of course was a Tigers of Pan Tang singer on the first album. Devil's Triangle. Track 2, Twisted Ace. The song's called This Fire Inside. And then the legendary Witchfinder General, Free Country. Track 4, No Faith, Oh Well, which is the cover of the Fleetwood Mac song. Track 5 is Persian Risk, Calling For You. I think that was a single as well. And finally, No Quarter, Power and the Key. So that's Heavy Metal Heroes Volume 2. I don't know Volume 1 for some reason. Now, the reason I actually started looking through these compilation albums was I did a guitar playthrough for a Rage song, and I remembered it was on this compilation album. So this is Carrera Records, and this was 1982. It's a great compilation album, this actually. I remember buying this, taking it home. I think it was with my mum and dad. I think I'd been shopping with my mum and dad. I mean, God, shopping with your mum and dad, can you think of anything worse? Until you pick up Heavy Metal Thunder, and you think, it's not all bad. So, side 1, Heavy Metal Thunder by Saxon, title track. One of the Boys, Rose Tattoo. Long Way From Home by Rage. Night Rider, Dokken. And that's right, Dokken were on Carrera as well. They did 2 versions of their first album, I think. And there's a slightly different mix on the Carrera one from the American one. Next track is Total Possession by Demon. Now, Demon, great band. Quite AC/DC sounding in bits. Now, I never saw Demon back in the day, but I did see them. I went to, a couple of friends went to Bang Your Head Festival in Balingen in Germany about 10, 12 years ago or something, and Demon played. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Last song, side 1, Motorcycle Man by Saxon. Side 2, Denim and Leather, Saxon. Assault and Battery, Rose Tattoo. Liar by Demon. That's a great tune. We're Illegal by Dokken. And the last song is Thank That Woman by Rage. Next up we have Music for Nations, the singles album. Gatefold sleeve, impressive. Whoa, look at that, look at that. So big and heavy I can barely hold it up. Look. Oof. Some good pictures there. So this must have been all the singles that came out on Music for Nations, early doors. This was, when was this made? Look, oh, look, it's got all the Music for Nations releases as well. Exciter, Violence and Force. This came out in 1986. Some killer albums on there, eh? Great albums. Manowar, Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Exciter, etc, etc, etc. So let's see what's on this. We'll go through this quickly or we'll be here all night. Side 1, Tank, Echoes of a Distant Battle. Rocks, Sweet 16. Glam Rockers Rocks, ROX. Virgin Steel, A Cry in the Night. That's the remix version, in case you're wondering. Track 4, Jump in the Fire by Metallica. Track 5, Black Funeral by Merciful Fate. I love Merciful Fate, some great guitar playing going on. Earthshaker, a song called Blondie Girl. Side 2, the first album. Susie Blue by Alaska, Bernie Marsden's band. Animal, Fuck Like a Beast. I don't know if I can say that on this channel. Well, my apologies folks if I can't. Track 3, Loudness, a song called Road Racer. Then Wendell Williams, It's My Life, produced by Gene Simmons. Written by Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Then Metallica, Creeping Death, and the last song, Feel the Knife by Exciter. Side 3, Rogue Male, All Over You. That's a bit of a dirty song. Then Q5, song Steal the Light. Then Alaska again, Miss You Tonight. Wasted, Heaven Tonight, which was a single. Then Rio, RIO, I Don't Want to Be the Fool. And lastly, side 4, Eric Martin, Information. It's a funny song. Baby Taku, Rock, open brackets. Rock, close brackets. It's called Rock, Rock. Legs Diamond, Turn to Stone. Rogue Mail again, Belfast. Rio, Atlantic Radio. And Agent Steel, The Swarm is Upon Us, stroke, Mad Locust Rising. Music for Nations. And then we have Axe Attack, Volume 2. Now I don't know where Volume 1 is, because I had Volume 1 but I don't know. Now these came out on K-Tel, which was a record label that was mostly used for putting shitty 70s compilations out which didn't even feature the original artists. But this one did. 2 heavy metal albums, I remember them being in the charts. When did this come out? 1981, I think. Volume 1 was 1980. You know, the UK at that time, you know, Motorhead were in the top 10. They were on top of the pops. You know, the live album straight in. Oh, brilliant. Great times. You would turn on the TV on a Thursday night to watch Top of the Pops, and it was Judas Priest singing United and stuff like that. Anyway, I digress. Side 1. Now these were all sort of big singles, big hits. So there's nothing particularly rare on this. Side 1, Rainbow, Since You've Been Gone. Motorhead, Ace of Spades. Black Sabbath, Die Young. Samson, Earth Mother. It's a great tune. Michael Schenker, Armed and Ready. It's funny, it doesn't say the Michael Schenker group, it just says Michael Schenker. Rush, The Trees. Scorpions, The Zoo. Side 2, Whitesnake, Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City. Iron Maiden, Murders in the Rue Morgue. Def Leppard, Rock Brigade. Ted Nugent, Flesh and Blood. Gillan, Mutually Assured Destruction. Blue Oyster Cult, Godzilla, Go 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 Godzilla. UFO, Mystery Train. And, look, Judas Priest, United. I was right. So, that was a good introduction to heavy metal in 1981. Next up we have Metal Fatigue. I don't know how you can get metal fatigue. I mean, you surely can't listen to too much metal. So this is another one on Ebony Records, and this was out in 1982. Oh look, this is the first album released by Ebony Records and is devoted entirely to the promotion of rock bands. Ebony Records is an independent record company with its own professional 24-track studio, and its aim is to promote rock and metal bands. So who's on this? First band, side 1, Headhunter, with the song Headhunter. And then Savage, Savage are a killer band. Their Loose and Lethal album is just, you know, that's easily in the top 10 metal albums of all time. It's absolutely fantastic. And that's Ain't No Fit Place. Next band, Hotwire, Ain't Gonna Beg. Next band is Shell Shock, Steel Breeze. And the last song in side 1, Strontium Dog, Getting In From the Outside. On to side 2, the JD Band, song called Too Late. Then we have Assassin. Now I had an Assassin story in a video a while ago, I don't think that's the same band. Next band, Inner Vision, song called Stage Play. And the last song is by a band called Modus Operandi. And the song's called Something Inside. So that's that bad boy. Next up we have the new wave of British heavy metal. Now this was put together by Lars, I think. Now I'm sure everybody knows what's on this. It's pretty famous album. Great tunes on it, eh? Lars really loved Diamond Head, that's for sure. Next up we have the Metal Collection. And this is on Ebony Records again. And this is the Metal Collection Volume 1. This came out in 1986. Interesting story time, folks. Ransom. These lads here. My friend Alan, he was a guitar player in Ransom. And they were on this. Side 1, Blood Money. I think Blood Money had a couple of albums out on Ebony as well. A song called Metalized. Next band is High Voltage, End of Time. Next band, Charger. A song called Rock. And then a band called Mother's Ruin. A song called Mother's Ruin. There's a lot of these bands who just named the song after themselves. Next band, Hellraiser, Made of Metal. Sounds pretty metal. And then the legendary Ransom from Edinburgh, Scotland, with Alan Melrose on guitar. Nightmare. It's not a nightmare, it's really good. Last song, side 1, band called Bad Reputation. The song's called How Long. Side 2, band are called Torque Show, and the song's called The Hour of the Slowest Clock. That sounds like it might be prog rock, but I doubt it. Next band, State of Mind. The song's called The Dream. Next band, Richter, Leather and Lace. Then Dark Heart with Stone Cold Hearted. And then Holocid, they were one of the bigger things I think. Cries in the Night. And then a band called Sex. S-E-X. Dear oh dear. And the song's called Overlord of Rampant Rock. And the last song on side 2, track 7, the band are called Acryl, A-C-C-R-Y-L. And the song's called Victims in Chains. Moving on swiftly, we have Metal Explosion. Now I think this was to do with the Friday Rock Show. BBC Records, this came out in 1980. So, side 1, Take It Like a Man by Samson. Johnny Cool by Praying Mantis. Visionary, Trespass, the legendary Trespass. And then Paper Chaser by Taurus. Side 2, only 4 songs on each side on this one as well. Side 2 is More, and the song's called Soldier. And then Money, the song Leo the Jester. And then Gillen with the sadly departed Bernie Tormey on guitar. If You Believe Me. And finally we end up with a new wave of British heavy metal classic, Extermination Day by Angel Witch. It's the music that matters. Tommy Vance. The legendary TV, Play That Rock and Roll. Next up we have Metal Battle, the new generation heavy metal sampler. Raven, Anvil, Battle Axe, Merciful Fate, Tank, Venom, Jaguar, Witchfind, Hellenbach, Satan and Santers. Santers weren't heavy metal. Canadian band. So yeah, that's it. This is on Neat Records, Neat 1014. This came out in 1983. A-side, Raven, Mind Over Metal, Anvil, Motormount, Battle Axe, Ready to Deliver. Great band, Battle Axe. We saw them at Hard Rock Hell, just in a little pub. Oh, great. Merciful Fate, Black Funeral, Tank, Laughing in the Face of Death. B-side, Venom, Leave Me in Hell, Jaguar, Run for Your Life, Witchfind, I'd Rather Go Wild, that's a great tune. Hellenbach, Dancing. I think that was the first Hellenbach tune I heard. Oh, I'll put a link in the description down below, and hopefully it's somewhere online, and great tune. Satan, Hunt You Down, and Santa's Racing Time. Was that the title of their album? I can't remember. Now this one, Flood Damage. Oh, Nightmare Story, look at this. I lost a lot of records in a flood, eh? Devastated, I was devastated. This is from it came out in 1982. It's from the Reading Rock Festival. Mostly recorded in 1982, although Whitesnake was recorded in 79, UFO in 1980. So there's 4 sides. I'll rush through this one. Side 1, Walking in the Shadow of the Blues, Whitesnake. 2, I Want Your Body by Terraplane. He Knows You Know by Marillion. Now I'm not a big Marillion fan really, but that's a killer tune. Slow Rider by Jackie Linton, and then Superstar by Budgie. Side 2, SOS by Bernie Marsden. I Want to See You Tonight by one of my favourite heavy metal bands, Chinatown. I'm going to do a whole hour episode dedicated to Chinatown. I loved Chinatown. Then Randy California, Come On Women. There and Back by Stampede. Great band, Stampede as well. Lawrence Archer, what a guitar player. I saw a Grand Slam recently, and Lawrence, just really good. Shoot 'Em Down by Twisted Sister. Side 3, Attack of the Mad Axeman, Michael Schenker. 3 Boats Down from the Candy, Marillion. Turn Me Loose by another great band, Terraplane. You Really Got Me, Just Good Friends, that's rubbish. Hot and Ready, UFO. Side 4, Panzer Division Destroyed by Budgie. Keep On Believing by Grand Prix. Grand Prix supported Maiden, 1984 or something like that. I thought they were pretty good. And then Chinatown again, Caught on the Wrong Side. And then the Hedgehog Song by Jackie Linton. Next up we have Brute Force. Brute Force and Ignorance, Rory Gallagher. This is a demonstration copy, property of MCA Records, not for sale. And this came out in 1980, I think it was. So this is on MCA Records. And the bands are, well, you can see from the front there. Bands are Diamond Head, Prowler, Mick Underwood. I didn't know he was a solo act. Zero, Fist, Sledgehammer, White Spirit, Crier, the legendary Raven. Colin Towns, again, I didn't know the guys from Gillen were all solo. Quartz and Mae West. Side 1, It's Electric by Diamond Head, Brain Damage by Fist, Let It Rip by Raven, Gotta Get Back to You by Prowler, Fantasia, Sledgehammer, Breakdown by Colin Towns. I'd imagine that's a keyboardy type thing. Earthquake at the Savoy by Gillen drummer Mick Underwood. Who would have thought a drummer would go solo? Well, that guy Dave Grohl does okay though. Back to the Grind by White Spirit, Can't Say No to You by Quartz, Hold On by Zero, Day to Day by Crier, and Black Queen by Mae West. Now, I'm sure I saw a band called Prowler in Bathgate and West Lothian, you know, like back in 1980 or something like that. I just remember seeing this band, and both guitarists had Explorers or Ibanez Destroyers, and they sounded a bit like Iron Maiden. I wonder if it was Prowler. I'll need to do a needle drop on this and find out. So we're getting near the end, folks. Stick in there, stick in there. Music for Nations presents Hell Comes to Your House. This has got a good compilation. This came out in another one of these Music for Nations one that's got all the albums inside it. This came out in 1984. See, I like this compilation. It's good. Good introduction to thrash metal in 1984. Back cover. Man of War, Blood of My Enemies, Exciter, Violence and Force. Violence and Force. Anthrax, Death Rider, Earthshaker, Wall, Hellion, Break the Spell, Loudness, Esper. Side 2, Metallica, Creeping Death, Hellstar, Burning Star. Then the Rods, I love the Rods. Whoa. Hurricane from the Rods Live. Then Tsunami, Firewater, Earthshaker, Young Girls, and Alaska, the Sorcerer. Now, Bernie Marsden's Alaska were anything but heavy metal. They were good, but they certainly weren't metal. On the final furlong here, Metal for MUTHAS, Volume 1, Volume 2. Now, these were in the charts. These records were in the charts. These came out on EMI in 1980. Side 1, Sanctuary by Iron Maiden, Sledgehammer by Sledgehammer, Fighting for Rock and Roll by the EF Band. Funny, when I was talking about seeing a band in Bathgate, I saw the EF Band in Bathgate. I mean, Bathgate, you couldn't get any more off the beaten track. You know, it's not a city, it's just like a small town in central Scotland. But it had an incredible metal scene, a place called the Cane Park. You know, we saw everybody there. Who did we see? Spider, the Mama's Boys, people like that. Tredegar, the guys from Budgie, mad. Then Blues and A by Toad the Wet Sprocket. And final track, Captured City by Praying Mantis, final track, side 2. Side 1. Side 2 is Fight Back, Ethel the Frog. Then Baphomet by Angel Witch. Wrathchild by Iron Maiden. Now I think these were exclusive to this album, the Maiden tracks. Tomorrow or Yesterday by Samson. And Bootleggers by Nuts. Now I think Nuts became Rage, who were on the Heavy Metal Compilation. So that's Metal for MUTHAS, Volume 1 on EMI. And here we have Volume 2. Now, there's two songs on this which are two of the greatest heavy metal songs ever written, both by a band called Trespass. So side 1, Trespass, One of These Days. I mean, I can't say enough about these guys. They were so good. The songs were so good, the playing was so good, the melodies were so good. Great. Easy Money, Telephone Man. Zero, Cutting Loose. White Spirit, High Up on High. Dark Star, Lady of Mars. Another song that would get into the all-time heavy metal top 10. Lady of Mars, brilliant. Side 2, Horsepower, You Give Me Candy. Red Alert, Open Heart. Chevy by Chevy, another band naming a song after themselves. The Raid, Hard Lines. And the last track is Stormchild by Trespass. I mean, you have to listen to these to appreciate how good they are, really. Now, I've stuck these two albums in at the end. These are not strictly heavy metal. Trash on Delivery and Rock Pretty. Now, Rock Pretty is on Heavy Metal Records, and I really like this album. You know, it's not the greatest produced work, but there's some really good tunes on it. Side 1, Two Hearts by The Grip, that's a great song. Then The Babysitters, Rock and Roll Chicken. Marionette, Getting Sticky Over the Girl Next Door. Aunt May, Flesh of the Devil, it's pretty metal. Napalm Hearts, Little Miss Teaser. It's got a great chorus in it. It goes up a tone as well in one of the choruses and sounds magic. Side 2, Marionette, You Better Believe It. The Babysitters, The Beard Song. Napalm Hearts, Susie Was a Livewire. Aunt May, Respect the Dead. The Grip, Tension. We finally got to the end. So this came out 1983 on Flick Knife Records. Don't know if I showed you the back of the Rock Pretty album, sorry. How terribly rude of me. Anyway, so that's the front of this album, and that's the back of this album. Cover by Ray Zell, I guess. Oh yeah, it's like sleeve by Ray Zell. So side A, The Babysitters, Everybody Loves You. The Genocides, Private Hell. London Cowboys, great band. Let's Get Crazy. Marionette, My Baby Sucks Real Bad. Bad Detective, favourite record. The Barracudas, You're Gonna Miss Me. And then Marionette, Too Far Gone. Then the Dogs d'Amour. I love the Dogs d'Amour, great band. Teenage, and then Suffragette, Do You Want My Love? And then Gary G. Laman, I Heard the Devil. Then Nicky Sudden and the Bible Belt. And the last track, The Babysitters, Living Out Rock and Roll. So there you go, folks. Probably a less than interesting episode, but you know, there's a lot of people out there like vinyl records, like to chat about vinyl. I'm a vinyl junkie, so I could be spending my money on something worse. So I'd be interested to know if anybody else has any of these records, or if anybody wants to hear any of them. Might as well rip the vinyl and, you know, put it on the internet, share it with people. So thank you for watching, and thank you for sticking to the end, if you have indeed stuck to the end. Cheers for now.